There are cars honking in downtown San Antonio right now after your San Antonio Spurs defeated the Portland Trailblazers in 5. That's right, gentlemen sweep. 114-95, game 5, closeout game for your San Antonio Spurs. We're going to talk about it here on this live episode of Spurs in Focus. Thank y'all for joining us here this late evening. Rudy, they got to stop making these games so late. My goodness, don't they know we got to go to bed soon?
But it's past my bedtime, way
Yeah.
past my bedtime.
On that note, we're probably going to keep this nice and tight here. Again, thank y'all for joining us here at Spurs in Focus. We appreciate it. As always, subscribe over at YouTube, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Music. The list goes on. And don't forget about the Substack, Spurs in Focus Substack, completely free. Sign up right now. That guy you see on your screen, he is Mr. Rudy Campos with the Sports Answer. Follow him on X at The Sports Answer. Follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. We appreciate it as always. So, yeah, as mentioned, your San Antonio Spurs, they're moving on to the Western Conference semis after beating the Portland Trailblazers in Game 5. And for the most part, they made it easy. We're going to start off with some general observations, takeaways, then get into our standout player, standout stat, and the turning point of the game, if there really was one. I don't know, maybe Rudy can think of one. Rudy, right off the bat, love the way they came out. They came out aggressive. They came out like they're the dominant team. Unlike that we saw in the last two games in Portland, where they had to rally from deficits. They never were behind the scoreboard. I believe this was a wire-to-wire win for the San Antonio Spurs. So I like that, Rudy. I like the fact they were the aggressive, wire-to-wire win, no deficit to climb out of.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 3 quarters, they were ahead. The only quarter they did end up losing was the fourth quarter, obviously, but they only lost it 30-28 when total combined points there. But yeah, they came out strong. They came out focused. They came out determined to put Portland away. And that shows you the type of team that they have in San Antonio. I mean, defense was a huge thing right there. A guy like Julian Champagny, who we really hadn't heard a whole lot from in the series, just kind of blew up and lit a huge spark for San Antonio. Once they got the lead, they held on to it. There were a couple of nail-biter moments there, especially in that fourth quarter. But nonetheless, you know, the whole inexperience thing that a lot of people talk about, put it to rest, man. This team, they're built to go very far in this playoffs.
Absolutely. Now, another takeaway that I had from Game 5 is that they got contributions from a lot of people. They got some from De'Aaron Fox. More on him in a bit. You mentioned Julian Champagny. Glad to see him step up. Dylan Harper rebounded from a so-so Game 4, 17 points off the bench. Devin Vassell double figures. Steph Castle double figures. The Spurs had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double figures on the offensive end, and defensively, my goodness, the Spurs, or should I say Victor Wembanyama, was just a menace for the team across the other side of the court. The Portland Trailblazers blocking everything in sight. Had a ho-hum game for his standards, double-double, 17 points and 11 rebounds. Nevertheless, his presence was felt, and I liked what I saw, that especially on the defensive end. Rudy, again, you know, what more can you say about him? It feels like everybody said everything about Wemby that you can think of at this point. You know, he's just amazing, amazing player. 14 defensive rebounds. His shot, 5 or 7, didn't take too many shots, but he was still a plus 20 for the Spurs. Your thoughts on Victor's play?
Yeah, I mean, ever since coming back from the concussion, Victor actually has kind of taken it up a notch, if you think about it. Not so much on the scoring side, but I mean, he's averaging 6.5 blocks in the last 2 games, 13 total blocks in these last 2 games. It's just, I mean, you can't really say more about Victor. Right. Now you're starting to put him in that category of, like a lot of people called him early, you know, the generational category, the face of the league category. There's really not much more this guy can't do. I mean, he's doing everything possible, and it shows. He only had like 17 points, Jeff, but I mean, it was more of him being on the court, especially on the defensive side, getting rebounds. I mean, just being out there made this team get off to a fast start. They played tremendous. The thing now that we've got to wait for is he going to win MVP? That's the biggest question. But the good thing about it is we wait for that Nuggets Minnesota Timberwolves game series, because I think it goes 7 games, which means a lot of rest for guys like Victor, Steph Castle. Remember, they logged 30 plus minutes a game every single game. So great job getting it done in game 5. Great job by Victor and the boys. Can't say enough about them. They're going to get some much needed rest now.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, should we thank Denver right now for extending that game versus Minnesota? So appreciate
Oh,
that.
Denver's going to win the series. I'm telling you right now.
You're still on that. You're still on that, huh?
Yeah, they're going to win the series.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. They're really holding the faith. He wants that prediction to come true that he picked.
Well, it puts me in a predicament because I have Denver winning the title. I had them at the beginning of the season. So if they play San Antonio, I'm going to have the entire city of San Antonio looking for me. So, yeah, it's not a very good thing on my side of the world right now.
All right. But nevertheless, yeah, still, thankfully that series is being extended where the Spurs get a little bit of rest before that series starts. By the way, the Spurs just announced that tickets to the second round of the Western Conference playoffs are on sale now. You want to go to Ticketmaster, Spurs.com/Ticketmaster. You want to get your tickets in now. I know a lot of Spurs fans were clamoring for any ticket in the first round series, but giving you a heads up right now, everybody, they're available. Go get them. But anyway, going back to the game here, you look at what the Spurs did, and just taking control, taking command. But again, we saw in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter, when we thought this team was on cruise control, and Mitch Johnson himself said it after the game, that they did take their foot off the gas pedal. Does that worry you, Rudy, that a young team like this getting their feet wet in the playoffs, but yet they still allow the Portland Trailblazers to cut into that double-figure lead and make it somewhat of a game late in the game?
Immaturity is the word I would look for. I mean, I don't want to use the inexperience. I'm using immaturity because you had a 20-point lead, 20-plus point lead for majority of the game. Then you saw the ball getting turned over. You saw them making careless mistakes, allowing Portland to get back in the game. They went once Denny got that technical foul, they went on a 9-0 run. Portland did to cut the lead to 9. Absolutely. So the thing you got to realize is they were making some careless plays at the end, turnover the basketball. Stephon Castle had 7 turnovers. Plus, I understand Stephon Castle was, up in Denny's, his space and giving him an elbow here and there. A lot of fouls were unnecessary fouls. Now, if he's starting to play like that kind of physicality, he's going to foul out pretty quick against a team like Denver or even OKC, say they meet later on. He's got to play a little bit smarter and use his fouls a little bit better than what he was doing tonight. Nonetheless, I mean, like I said, there was a no-biter moment where you thought, okay, Portland cut it to 9. It's 8 minutes to go in the game. That's a lot of time. A lot of fans, I'm sure, did get really worried around that time. So they got to cut down the turnovers, Jeff. They got to be a lot more mature. But there is one guy that is mature on the team in the fourth quarter, came up clutch again. I still don't see the hate on X for him. I'm still looking for it. But thank God for De'Aaron Fox for being the leader of this group during that time.
Yeah. Fox, you see that guy on your screen? He did it again for the Spurs, saving the Spurs in a critical moment again in the fourth period, this time in Game 5. As mentioned, the Spurs had a double-figure lead. It was somewhere close to 20. And the Blazers went on a 10-0 run late in the fourth period to make it a game. Cut it as close as 9 points. This guy, 11 points in the fourth period alone. So the Spurs, once again, relied on that veteran you see on your screen to take over the game. As Mitch Johnson did say, he said that Fox took over the game. And, you even look at Ron Harper's dad, Ron Harper Sr., he put out on X a few days ago that nobody should be giving Fox any bleep anymore. That's why he's on the roster. And that's the guy that's won some championships under his belt there. Yeah, you're right. De'Aaron Fox, once again, the savior for the team. You know what? Holding the Blazers to under 100 points. Talk about the defensive side of things. That is key. I think they did that in back-to-back games already, keeping them under 100. So that's good for the Spurs. Defense is still going to be their bread and butter, even if their offense sputters. So, again, Spurs flexing the defensive muscles in Game 5/closeout game. I mean, the Blazers, they couldn't shoot worth bleep in the entire game. 35% shooting from the field, 23% shooting from the three line, went 11 for 47. And your Spurs, 55% shooting for the game, and they go 12 for 30 from beyond the arc at 40%. So the Spurs were clicking on both ends of the court. You pick some. I mean, if you're looking for anything to nitpick, we already talked about it that fourth period where the Spurs let the Blazers crawl back in, but careless passes. The Blazers had 8 steals in the game. The Spurs had 14 turnovers, which is still for standards in NBA low. But the Blazers, they only had 9 turnovers. So they were definitely taking care of the ball. Overall, Rudy, just a solid win for a good 3.5 quarters. And well, maybe I should say 3.75%. 3.575 the final quarter. Look, I get it. This team is still young, as you mentioned, Rudy. They're going to maybe puff their chest out a bit, pop their collar. But they got to clean that up. Mitch Johnson said after the game that this Spurs team still has stuff to improve upon as they move on. And I think that's one of them. And they're going to put a team away, whether that's now Denver or Minnesota. They're going to have to, Rudy, because if you give any of those 2 teams any life, guess what? They're going to take advantage of it, and they may not be as easy as the Blazers. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at both teams ahead, either Minnesota or Denver, Denver hasn't really played great against Minnesota until the injury to Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo. But nonetheless, go back to the regular season, Denver has owned San Antonio. Nikola Jokic is averaging 40 points a game against Wemby. So I mean, that's going to be a tough out, as is Minnesota coming in. Rudy Gobert is playing extremely good defense against Jokic right now. He's on a mission because he was 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year voted, if I'm not mistaken. So, he does really feel slighted. You may get Anthony Edwards back for that San Antonio Spurs series if they end up winning. So, the Spurs have a lot to clean up. I'm glad they got through Portland. Again, go back to before the series even started, Jeff, when you and I did the Spurs in Focus. I said, this is the perfect team for the Spurs to jump into that first round with in Portland. The physicality is going to be there. Thiago's going to have his guys playing hard for the entirety of the game. Majority of the games, the Blazers actually, I mean, we're going to call spade a spade. The Blazers should probably be up 3-2 right now in this series. But, this is the perfect team for the Spurs to actually play in their first round. They were able to play defensive. They were able to play superb defense against Portland. They were able to bounce back in 2 games where they were down double digits. It's a really, really big confidence booster for this team going into the next round. But again, I love that Mitch says they've got to clean up a lot of stuff because it doesn't get any easier. The regular season was easy. The first round was it was easy, but not extremely easy. The second round, it gets very difficult because that's where every little thing you do wrong gets magnified.
Yeah, and they end up against a seasoned championship team like Denver or a playoff seasoned Minnesota teams.
Conference finals.
Yes,
Minnesota
thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, they're no slouch. And again, yes, they will not have DiVincenzo, and Edwards likely could be back for that game. But nevertheless, focusing on the series, Spurs beat the Blazers, gentleman's sweep, 4-1, 114-95 is your final. Moving on to the Western Conference semis now. Again, because it's kind of a late ending to the game, we're going to kind of keep this show a little shorter so we can get some sleeper. But let's just be honest, don't hate waking up and drinking tons of coffee. I don't mind drinking a lot of coffee. I'm a coffee guy.
I'm good with coffee.
Yeah, but I want to talk about this too. Let's look at the Spurs. Let's get a job about the Spurs here, and that is didn't have a jump out game as far as the stats are concerned. But Devin Vassell, once again, proving his worth. 10 points, had a rebound, 2 assists. He was a plus 22. A plus 22 for the game. Yeah. Devin does a lot of the little things that leads to wins. He contributes to winning. We mentioned those 5 assists. We mentioned the 1 rebound. Okay, perfect from the free throw line. Hits both of them. Hits 4 for 7 from inside the 3-point line. And you look at this too. He contributes 1 rebound. The numbers didn't really stand out as far as, oh my God, he's averaging 20-something points. But again, a plus 22. He's doing something right on that court. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Devin brings the length, man. That's what he's doing. His defense is actually, it's outweighing his offense right now. He's able to get in guys' faces. He's able to cut into the cutting lanes, making tough. It's tough for teams to get a pass off of him. He's just doing the little things right, and that's what counts the most. You don't want to give him, get him to get 20 points a game. If you're getting 20, 25 out of Devin, you're hoping it's because everybody else is scoring 20, 21 a game, and the Spurs are up comfortably. But those 10 points at Devin, again, key shots. When Portland was on that run for a little while there, Devin did hit a shot from, I believe, the free throw line. So again, what we talked about with Devin in the season was he's the guy that's going to hit those shots at key moments, and that's what he's doing right now. He's knocking down a jumper, inside the 3-point line that the Spurs need someone to score a basket. He can get him that basket. He's almost like a younger version of Harrison Barnes. Let's put it that
Interesting.
way.
Yeah.
Because Barnes can come in, he can get you a couple of baskets here and there, kind of make a difference here and there. And that's kind of where I see Devin right now, similar to like Harrison Barnes. He's coming in, making key shots, making key plays, and he's making a difference in the plus and minus. You see it right there, plus 22. He's doing something right.
1 turnover for the game for Devin Vassell, and also was 42% true shooting percentage, so that's pretty good there. 2 fouls, so he didn't put himself in foul trouble, still being available for the Spurs, and even 2 fast break points. So yeah, Devin Vassell definitely deserves a tip of the cap. And it's not to mention this too, in that first period or first half, 6 points. So he definitely was helping the Spurs lock up that win. You look at other positive things for your San Antonio Spurs. I look at just the runs they went on. They went on, aside from the first period, when they went on a plus 11 run. They went on a 13-2 run, basically from about the 10-minute mark all the way down to the 7-minute mark. In that run, Champagny, 8 points, 2 for 2 from 3, 3 for 3 overall. You have the Spurs collectively hitting 5 of 5 field goals. I mean, they came out and put their stamp on this game early. And I was already saying, Rudy, at the end of the first, I was saying this game's over. It's over. Yeah. Everything had to go wrong for the Spurs, and everything had to go right for the Blazers. Scoot Henderson, did he even show up? Did he make the trip to San Antonio, Rudy? Did you put out an APB on him?
I had to, man. I mean, apparently, he was the guy after scoring 31 points and leading the Blazers to a victory. And then Scoot goes donut last game, 5 points this game. Went back to the old Scoot Henderson that was drafted by Portland. But yeah, man, I mean, Scoot just was a no-show. But that's where Scoot failed. City Sissoko. Let's give a shout out to City, former Spurs.
Good to go,
City Sissoko, because he did good tonight.
He did 11 points, 4 rebounds for the former Spur. He was a +9 for the Blazers, so he did good. Also, was getting into it with Victor, his draft classmate there.
Yeah,
they were having fun though. It was all good. Again, good to see Sissoko playing well. Some of the players that hurt the Spurs over the last 4 games, not including tonight's game or game 5. Drew Holiday, 8 points, -22 on the court for Portland. Shaden Sharp, was he even a factor in this series at all?
No, he hit like a couple of shots, but nothing like in the regular season at all.
Yeah, exactly. And overall, the Spurs put the clamps on the Blazers from beginning mostly to the end. All in all, they did enough to get the win. What more can you say? This team looks like they're firing all cylinders right now. The good news is they get to stay in San Antonio, no travel. The last thing they wanted to do is travel again. They can just now wait and say, all right, welcome Denver or welcome Minnesota to San Antonio. By the way, shout out to the crowd. I was at the game for a good 3 periods and then I left because this game was pretty much a wrap. Crowd was intense. The crowd was up on their feet. They were cheering. They were yelling. They were arguing with refs. They were completely in the game. So good on the Spurs fans for showing out too. All right. Once again, you're here with us on a live episode of Spurs in Focus, joined by Mr. Rudy Campos of The Sports Answer. He's on X at The Sports Answer. Follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Rudy, we got a few comments this late evening, already past midnight.
Yeah, before we get to the comments, we did have a Shannon Sharp sighting, Jeff, and he says, Scoot Henderson, scoot over, boot scooting boogie, it don't matter, Spurs in 5.
Look at that.
There you go, man. There you go. Spurs in 5.
Good graphic you got there, man. Good graphic.
Oh, yeah, it's up for everybody to see, so we're all going to worry about that.
Yeah. Hey, where did Rudy go? Yeah, come back here, Rudy.
You got to fix it. I don't remember.
I got you.
There we go.
Right,
so we got some comments.
We got a few comments, right?
Darth is in here now. Darth is a longtime fan of our show, so he says they need to trade Wemby. The kid's no good. We need an all-star like Ronnie James.
Pat Riley? Is he listening to Pat Riley?
Yeah, he is. Seth is in here. Says series is done. Told y'all Scoot was gonna die out. Says
You
Rudy
definitely
taught me
did.
well. I guess I'm teaching the young ones out there about it. Scoot Ham was not missing. He found a torta at Fiesta, and love distracts you. Yeah, so he caught the Fiesta flame there, I guess is what
Hey,
they're saying,
does the
man.
Torta deserve the MVP for the series then, I guess, or what?
I'm assuming so. Fiesta deserves the MVP. Portland
There you
seemed to
go.
be partying at Fiesta more than anything here.
All right, let's get into some key moments from our turning point of the game, from our standout player and standout stat. Rudy, you want me to surprise you again?
Yeah, shoot.
Rudy, your standout stat from Game 5 Spurs Blazers.
Standout stat. I'm gonna go with the blocks, 8-2.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick.
Victor had 6 of those blocks, but if I'm not mistaken, Dylan Harper, I think, had a block as well in there. But either way,
Did you see that one that Devin Vassell got?
Yeah,
On Clinton, I was like, nasty. Yeah,
that was a nasty one. That's the reason why I picked 8-2 was because if we go back, the one game that Portland won, they ended up out blocking the Spurs in that game. They had more blocks than them. Since then, San Antonio's been controlling the blocks, and I think that's what it was. It shows the defensive prowess by San Antonio. 8-2 for the Spurs on the block. The other thing was the 40% shooting from beyond the arc. You love to see it, especially around playoff time. Why? Because you're going to need a game or two as you keep going into each round where you're going to have to knock down the 3 ball. So shooting 40% was a big one for me, but the biggest one had to be the blocks, 8-2.
Yeah, good. And again, the Spurs just put the clamps on the Blazers defensively. For me, Rudy, I'm going to go with, let's see what I got here. What can I pick here from? I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with what the Spurs did to close out the game. Now, again, the game was seemingly in hand until the Blazers went on a big run, 10-0 run to cut that Spurs double-figure lead down to single digits. It looked like, oh, great, here we go. Overtime or something. But the Spurs, from about the 5-minute mark to the end of the game, they put away the Blazers. They go on a 17-7 run. That's my standout stat right there. The score was 97-88. Yeah, I got that close, everybody. But the Spurs ultimately win 114-95. In that run, it was, again, De'Aaron Fox, 9 points in that run. Danny Advia, he was a non-factor in that run. 2 out of 5 from the field goal. Well, the Blazers missed all 7 field goals. So you got the offense humming, you got De'Aaron Fox humming, and the Spurs are putting the clamps on them defensively. They go 0 for 5, the Blazers, from the three-point line. So that's my standout stat. I love how the Spurs closed out the Blazers with a good run to put away the team and send them to Cancun. So there you go. Have fun, Blazers. Have fun in Cancun. Galveston, yeah. All right, Rudy, we got the next one. This was tough, man. This was tough. What's your turning point?
I got it. Turning point. 4th quarter, Denny Advia gets fouled by De'Aaron Fox, gets a technical foul. Portland goes on a 9-0 run. That's my turning point because it brought some fear into a Spurs team that already had controlled the entire game. So when they got it under double digits, I think that's when the Spurs had to lock in. Mitch called a key timeout. Keldon Johnson yelling at the guys, we need to pick it up. We need to get going. After that, never looked back. There were double-digit wins after that. That's my turning point of the game, was that Denny technical and that 9-0 run by Portland. Timeout Mitch. Spurs came back out. They controlled the rest of the game. That's my turning point of the game.
It goes back to what I said to start this series. For me, it felt like it was Denny, and that was it. They don't have consistent contributors. You don't know what you're going to get out of Shady Sharp. You don't know what you're going to get out of Thibault. You're not going to go with Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams. The list goes on and on. It was pretty much Denny or bust for the most part, at least on the offensive end.
Yeah.
So you gotta wonder like what kind of changes the Blazers are going to go through to rebuild this team. Obviously, they're going to rebuild around Denny. Do they keep Splitter? Do they not? You would think they would after what he's done as interim head coach. But nevertheless, it's a good pick there. For me, my turning point of the game, I'm going to go with the start of the second quarter. I think that's when the Spurs pretty much put the Blazers, away. Yeah. They start the second period on an 18-4 run, plus 14 on the Blazers. It went from 36 to 24. Again, the Blazers still within striking distance to 54 to 28 at the end of that run. Harper, 7 points in that run. Wemby, Keldon had 5 points each. The Blazers 0 for 5 from the three-point line. Again, for me, that was a turning point. At that moment, I knew that that's it. The Blazers are done. They ain't going to come back because, again, everything had to go right for the Blazers, and the Spurs would have had to collapse. That was not going to happen. To me, that was my turning point. They just annihilated that team in that second quarter. All right, let's go with our last category here. We all know who that might be. Take it away, Mr. Campos.
All right. Well, because I'm the president of the De'Aaron Fox fan club. I'm going to go again. De'Aaron Fox, man. I mean, a big fourth quarter, Mr. Clutch in the fourth quarter, back-to-back games where he's basically put the Blazers away, put the Spurs on his back for a little while there. 21 points tonight, 9 big assists, only 2 turnovers. Had a really, really good game tonight. 3 rebounds still on top of it. Made key shots in the first half, but he was it was just no stopping him in that fourth quarter, man. Shows the maturity, shows that he's the leader of this team, and again shows why he makes $60 million a year, and I don't even come close to that. I make probably $60 a year. So congratulations, De'Aaron Fox. You are my player of the game. And Jeff, I left the easy one for you too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's Kelly Olynyk coming in again in trash time. I'm just kidding, everybody. It was not Kelly Olynyk. I'm going to go with Victor Wembanyama again. The defensive presence that he made himself just felt in that second half, blocking everything in sight. I think he blocked satellites in orbit around the Earth right now. I mean, that's how crazy he went. Again, pedestrian numbers by his standard: 17 points, 14 rebounds. But those are huge 14 rebounds. He made all his free throw shots, 6 for 6 from the charity stripe. He goes 80% shooting from inside the 3 line. He made a 3-point shot. But what I like about this is 1 turnover. That was it. 6 blocks for the game, as mentioned. And he was a plus 20 for your San Antonio Spurs in that game. All in all, just a great game from Victor. And as he said in the previous game 4, they don't care about stats. That he said their superpower is that they play for one another. And they don't care if it's Wemby with the 40-point monster game or, Devin with a 20-point game. And I think that doesn't get talked about enough on this team, this team, is that it doesn't have to be Victor every freaking night. It doesn't. And I love that. I love that about this team.
It could be 7 shots.
Thank you. It can even be Keldon Johnson, 6th man of the year. He can be the leading scorer off that. Dylan Harper, a rookie, as we saw during this series. That can happen. It's pick your poison with this Spurs team. Denver, Minnesota, they're going to be tough outs, but the Spurs are going to be that tough out for them as well. So it is not one-sided. And I think that doesn't get highlighted enough, that it does not have to be Victor every night. It could be anybody on this roster, in not just offensively, but defensively as well. What else you got as far as the comments are concerned there, Rudy?
We got JC, the teammate. He says, checkout is at 10, or do they fly out tonight? Already checked out, being Portland. He says that'll save like 20,000 for the GM. And then Darth's back in here. And he makes a good point. I like what he said about the scary idea where he sees John Morant. He is on the trading block. Does he go to Portland? You got to remember the possibilities of Drew Holiday. They may be looking to move off for him. So getting a John Morant, getting a little bit more younger, Portland could become a team that could be very scary in the West. But, I mean, the one thing I do want to throw in there is Dylan Harper, man. I mean, outside of De'Aaron Fox, he had 17 tonight. Again, a guy that is a rookie but plays like a seasoned vet. On the other team, Dylan Harper is more than likely top 3, maybe top 2 rookie of the year candidate. So Spurs definitely blessed with him coming off the bench right now, but it's probably not going to last very long here. You may have to see a 3-headed monster of Fox, Castle, and Harper in that starting lineup. Even though somebody says it doesn't work, trust me, it works.
Yeah, it definitely works. Yeah, that guy on your screen right there, number 2. Yeah. By the way, what a way to cleanse the number 2 jersey from Kawhi Leonard. to now
Wow,
getting
you
work right
brought
now.
him up. Seriously, Jeff? You brought him
Hey,
up.
well, hey, he's shaking out the bad vibes off that number 2 jersey there. By the way, did you see that Jaren Jackson was in the house?
I was gonna say Jaren Jackson was number 2. I think
Yeah.
that is better than Kawhi Leonard, wearing the jersey.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, also to shout out Keldon Johnson. He got his Sixth Man of the Year award pregame, and also by his side was Manu Ginobili. So Manu Ginobili did a good thing when everybody was cheering for him because he made his way to the court to present, or at least be there with Keldon. He stepped away in a hurry. He just like pointed to Keldon, like, no, this is your moment. He walked away, and he let Keldon like soak it all in. So that was a good thing to see as well. But yeah, Spurs. Hey, they made us look right. Thank you, Spurs. We all called 5 games, Rudy, you and me, and came to fruition.
Yeah, 5 games. I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher after this, obviously, but definitely 5 games. Like Shannon Sharp said, Scoot Henderson, scoot over, boot, scoot, and boogie doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Spurs in 5.
Spurs in 5, and that is it. Your Spurs are moving on to the Western Conference semis after beating the Portland Trailblazers in Game 5, 114-95. Yeah, for the most part, it wasn't a contest for the most part. But again, good thing the Spurs took care of business. But we definitely appreciated y'all staying up very late with us because, again, these late starts, man. I can't stand them. I can't stand them. They just,
well, you get a break now.
Yeah, we get a break. Yeah. Yes, thankfully. Hey, everybody. Again, we're going to get kind of a short side because it is late. But nevertheless, hey, we thank y'all for coming here with us. Those few people in the comment section. Rudy, thank you for staying up late as well. And by the way, tell everybody what's going on at The Answer.
Yeah, so Sports Answer, Friday is going to be a very good show. It's myself, Derek Gervin, the Friday drive for the Sports Answer. Going to be talking Spurs, going to be talking the rest of the NBA playoffs, and our Spurs Cheeseman segment, Jeff. Derek brought it up. I'm going to give everybody a teaser. Derek brought it up. We're going to talk. Derek asked me a question. Is David Robinson better than Tim Duncan?
Whoa. Okay. Well, let's hear the argument. That's the valid topic. At least hear the argument.
I damn near crapped my pants on air that day when he asked me, because I'm like, you're really throwing me second guessing in there. And lo and behold, there's a video of David during an interview saying that he could beat Tim Duncan one-on-one, that they did play the rookie year. So I'm going to let Derek take the handle on that, and I'm going to stand behind the curtain.
Stay out of it, Rudy. Stay out of it. Follow him on X at The Sports Answer. Do that right now. Rudy, thank you again for being my co-host on this live episode / pre-recorded episode of Spurs in Focus. We appreciate it. And everybody else, we thank y'all for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. You don't want to go to any other show. You want to come here first. This is your first listen, your first watch every single day you can, and we appreciate it. Again, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Pocket Casts, the list goes on and on. Spurs in Focus Substack is completely free. Yes, 100% free. So go sign up right now, hit subscribe, and you are part of the crew. We'll be back tomorrow as we look back in detail about the series and then look forward to what possibly can be a Spurs Denver or Spurs Minnesota matchup in the West semis. I believe we have James Pleasure with San Antonio Sports Star. He is on deck to discuss that. If y'all know Pledge, he get riled up. So tune in for that one tomorrow. We got several guests to close out this week at Spurs in Focus. Y'all going to love it. So with that, thank y'all for staying up late. So for Mr. Rudy Campos, my name is Jeff Garcia, and now you're in focus with Spurs in Focus.